What is up, team? Welcome back. Here is the first video iteration for the second unit, Orchard Hideout. This video will serve as more of a overview video to help you kind of understand the different pieces that are going to be going into this unit for us to do well in the finals coming up, as well as just to provide you a quick summary and navigate the future videos that are to come here for this chapter for this unit. So the overview, the unit is actually, we're going to be breaking it up into two different topics. The first one is going to be coordinate geometry. And this topic is going to include several aspects around using the coordinate plane, which is like your XY axis and overall just graphing in general. And in addition to that, it's going to be proving items, proving different theorems about shapes, proving different things exists, proving using graphs. And so in order to be successful with I'm going to say coordinate geometry, this piece of this unit Orchard Hideout, you need to be able to utilize your graphs and different equations or formulas to make sense of what's going on. And we'll break this up in a later video, but for now, that's one of the objectives. The second objective is related to coordinate geometry, but has to do primarily with circles. And a lot of us in your middle school experiences maybe have had a teacher or two neglect circles and understanding circles, and they maybe just gave you a list of formulas to use, but different components or pieces or aspects of circles, including the radius, the diameter, things that are considered tangent lines to the circle, which that has some overlapping features of coordinate geometry. We'll talk about that in just a second. In addition to any sort of formulas or equations talking about the circumference, which you may recognize as like the perimeter. It's just not calculated similarly as to other shapes. The circumference and area of the circle. And so the unit has like basically two different pieces. And so as you start preparing for finals and preparing for the different pieces of the unit and your skills quiz in the upcoming weeks, make sure that you incorporate both circles and coordinate geometry in your review sheets or in your notes, or as you consolidate notes, in order to make sense of the different pieces of the unit as they're going on. So if you're interested in hearing more about coordinate geometry, you're specifically going to be learning and reviewing things that have to do with the distance formula. That's finding the distance between 2 points, as well as looking at the midpoint, as well as just how to graph in general. We're going to be reviewing that really quick for those of you who may have either forgotten or are not taking graphing seriously, which should be a big thing. In addition to graphing, kind of just modeling situations or modeling what's happening, and understanding how the graphs are going to relate to a real world experience and what we're going through. And so this is going to be kind of what you're interested in looking at for coordinate geometry. And then for circles, once again, we're going to be looking at kind of the graphing component or modeling using circles. We're going to be looking at the equation of a circle. And then how do we relate or derive other information from circles when we're only given a certain piece of information, right? So how do we translate given information? If we're given the circumference, for example, how can we find the area? Or if we're given the area, how do we find the circumference? Or if we're given the circumference and area, how do we get the radius? And information like that. So depending on what you're interested in learning about, or hearing more about, please go ahead and click the video associated with either coordinate geometry or circles, and I will see you in the next one.